What happens when you bring two engineers in Alaska together and they decide to grow an engineering company? Well, we're going to find out in just a minute, because in this week's Engineering Management Lessons video, I have with me Garret Galdsjo and Lucas Chambers of proHNS in Juneau, Alaska. In this video, they're going to share the biggest growth factor that happened for each of them in their careers, and both of them kind of contributed to them finding each other and growing the company they're growing today. Garret, you first.
Well, for me, it was 2012. I was working for the same firm I'd interned for in college, and I was getting close to getting my license, and I felt like I had a little bit of a glass ceiling where I was at. So I began looking for other opportunities that would maybe lead to a bigger career path, and that's how I eventually ended up coming to work for the Alaska Department of Transportation here in Juneau in 2013. And it was been a fantastic decision for me. Not only did it lead directly to this opportunity with proHNS when I came aboard in 2016, but in the last 8 years I've been in Alaska, I've been a part of more unique projects in the last 8 years than I could have ever imagined in the prior, in 30 years at my prior employment. I mean, I've worked on everything from airports to highways, bridges, marine structures. If you're an engineer in Alaska, especially a civil engineer, you're going to see a lot of different projects in a lot of unique locations. So it's been amazing for me, and I don't regret it in a bit.
That's great. And, I think, moving to Alaska is not like, moving from New York to New Jersey. I think there's, I would say it's a big life move, a big career move. But again, you heard the opportunities that it brought to Garret, and sometimes you need to make a decision, make a big change in life, in your career, to make things happen. So it's great to hear that. How about you, Lucas?
Yeah, I would say, one moment or, summer in particular that really helped me as a design engineer early on in my career at DOT was, I asked if I could work, a construction inspection on one of the first jobs, a simple roadway job with a bridge that I was the primary designer for, the road. And, this really, I went out into the field and got to see the construction on something that I had designed. And this really helped me, connect the dots between how the contract was assembled and then actually being applied in the field. And, especially as a young designer, I kind of got the concept of, the road and designing stuff, but, I didn't really understand how the specifications tied into it. You were kind of just, pulling stuff that you'd seen from somewhere else. And it was just kind of like, well, I think this is right, but being forced in the field when, okay, how am I going to measure and pay for this, and then, let me look at the specifications. And it kind of helped me, connect all those dots, and then being able to work on something that I designed, I also, really brought to light the importance of constructability. And so, as a designer now, every, question I always ask myself and talk about with, staff is, how would someone build this? So when you're trying to make a decision one way or another, how would someone build this? Always kind of with this constructability in mind. And, so I think that summer was a pivotal point for me as a designer, and actually, it was a project that I ended up meeting my business partner Garret on. And so, twofold, I kind of think it also then ultimately led me to proHNS, which has been another huge, kind of career change for me. So.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I would definitely second that, because I did the same thing. I worked as a surveyor one of my first summers as a civil engineer, seeing sites under construction and doing these surveys. And then when I got into the design, to the office, just like you, Lucas, it was like, how are they actually going to build this? Not just drawing lines on AutoCAD to connect pipes and things of that nature.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. It's not that easy out in the field. So it's really good to know that. So there you have it. Get field experience early in your career, and, don't be afraid to make a change. Maybe it's moving to Alaska or, doing something along those lines, but, going out and making a change that may not be an easy decision in the moment, may kind of be what you need to do to bring those kind of career and life opportunities that you might be looking for. So once again, thanks so much, Garret, Lucas, for spending some time with us. And I hope that you find these tips helpful in your career development.